Hello, chessmate. This is AGM Mark Paraguya. So I want to share my opening preparation to you guys. So let's start. We're going to analyze Caro-kan defense, paano bot binik attack. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy this lesson. So first, white will gonna play e4, and then you'll play c6, and then d5. So after ex d5, cx d5, followed by c4. So this is the indication that white played the pana bot binig attack, because the other line, it was bishop d3 is also an option here, but this one is a different topic. This one is what you call Caro-kan exchange variation. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so after c4, my recommendation, guys, is to play knight f6, and then from here, white have a lot of options, so we're going to tackle all of these lines, especially this knight c3 followed by bishop g5, or knight c3 followed by knight f3. So here I will recommend you guys to play knight c6, and then white should play, we're gonna play knight f3 here, and then this one is what you call Caro-kan two knights variation, and then the other line, bishop g5, is what you call Caro-kan paano bot binik attack, bishop g5 variation. Okay, so before we continue from there, I will just like to explain, for example, here, because white can capture d5 immediately in this position. Sorry. For example, after knight, excuse me, guys, after knight f6, white can capture the d5 pawn immediately, and then my recommendation here is to play g6, and then later on we're gonna take the d5 pawn. First we need to develop our king. We should improve the we should put our king into the safe place first, and then after that we're gonna attack the d5 pawn, and then we have a very comfortable position. White have isolated pawn, and then double pawn on d5 and d4. So g6 followed by bishop g7 is the idea here. For example, after knight f3, bishop g7, knight c3, and then castle king side. As of now, we don't care about that d5 pawn. Later on, we're gonna attack that d5 pawn. So after bishop c4, defending the d5 pawn, here we're gonna play knight bd7, intending to play knight b6, and then after this, black have a very comfortable position here. After bishop b3, knight takes d5, and then black is okay. Black is good. It was an equal position, but I prefer black here in this opening setup. Maybe white should play bishop g5 here. Still, black is good. All you need to do now is to develop this light square bishop somewhere on f5, or maybe on g4 is also playable, or maybe you can also play b6 followed by bishop b7. But the important thing here is the strategic concept. When you reach this kind of position, you're gonna trade a lot of minor piece, and then especially the knight and the bishop, and then after that you're gonna attack the d5 pawn using your major piece, your two rooks, and then the queen. So position will become very easy for black if you manage to execute a strategic idea like that. And then in white's perspective, white will gonna leave a lot of piece in the board, so that is the main strategic concept for white. So he can use his space advantage or advantage in activity. He can use that to convert into initiative. Okay, so this will lead to a very exciting game. I played this a lot of time in my games. Later on, guys, I will gonna play a game, and then I will gonna post it also here on YouTube. So I hope you guys will gonna enjoy this, and then I hope you guys will gonna support my channel, so I can do a lot of video in my what you call this following days. Okay, guys, so we're gonna continue. So that's my recommendation to you guys. If white played here cx d5 immediately, you're gonna play g6. Do not take d5 pawn immediately. Okay, so let's continue. For example, now let's tackle bishop g5 line, and then after that we're gonna tackle knight f3, the two knights variation. So here black will gonna play knight c6, and then here white should play bishop g5. Excuse me. Here the variation I will recommend you guys is dx c4. Again, white have an isolated pawn, and then from here white have a lot of option here, but the most promising continuation is knight f3, taking on c4 later on. And then the main line here is this d5 move. It will give white serious threat here, and then position will become very tricky, but don't worry guys, we have good preparation here in this one. For example, after knight e5, queen d4, and then here h6. Actually this is the main move here, h6, and then from here white have a lot of option. Bishop f4 is an option here, bishop f4, and then bishop h4 is also an option. Bishop takes f6 is also a playable line here. Okay, so let's tackle them one by one. First of all, what will happen if white accept the gambit on g5? For example, queen takes e5 followed by queen takes g5. So let's see. Here we have a very good preparation, guys. Queen x e5, and then our preparation is h takes, and then after queen takes g5, here we have this very strong move. Actually, when you reach this position, guys, on an actual game or an online game, I can guarantee you here that black have an advantage already. You can take a look at this one into your engine if you have some Stockfish there on your cell phone, or yeah, so, or on your tablet. You can check this one on your engine. b5 move will give black an advantage here. So that b5 move was very strong. So let's try to analyze, for example, if white captures, and then later on we're gonna try to analyze after a3, if white played a3, preventing b4. So let's go from knight takes b5 first. After knight takes b5, here again we have a very strong move, rook b8, attacking the knight on b5, and then later on having some pressure on b2 pawn. So a4 is a logical move here, and then here we're gonna play queen a5, and then after queen d2, rook takes b5. So what black is okay here, black is winning here. And then the other line was after rook b8, white can simply go back on c3, but here we're gonna take the b2 pawn, and then position will become very hard for white now. Queen a5 is coming, rook h5 is also an option here, a lot of option for black. So it will become very hard for white to play this way. So let's continue on the other line. After b5, here white have an option to play a3, preventing b4, but it's not a problem for us, guys. We can still improve the activity of our pieces. That is our main goal here, and then trying to execute some direct attack, especially the white's king on e1 is wildly open. So let's try to attack that. We have a good preparation here. Queen a5, intending to play b4, and then rook h5 is also a threat here. So rook d1 probably is the best continuation for white to how to deal with that b4 idea. So rook d1, removing the pin, and then after that we have rook h5 here, queen e3, and then after that we can play rook takes d5. Black is okay here. After this, later on we're gonna play e6 or maybe bishop b7, and then you don't need to worry about your king on e8. Anytime you can go king f8, and then yeah, king is very safe there. Good thing here is black have a pair of bishop. In addition for that, black have a majority attack on the queen side, so it will guarantee you that you have some long-term advantage here. So we can assess, or we can evaluate this position as black having a static advantage. Okay, so let's go back. That's our preparation there. Then we'll continue on the other line. So bishop g5 again, guys, and then here we were gonna play dx c4, And then now we already tackled the d5, pushing the pawn on d5, and then now we're gonna tackle this knight f3 line. Then after that, I don't recommend you guys to what you call this. I don't recommend you guys to support that c4 pawn, because our main strategic concept here is to develop all of our minor piece, and then later on we're gonna try to exchange a lot of minor piece here. That was the main strategic concept for this kind of position, because we are playing with our opponent are having isolated pawn on d4, so most probably we want to enter in a endgame position, which rook two rooks endgame is favorable for black. So here we're gonna play e6. So later on this light square bishop on c8, we're gonna develop, we will develop this one to on b7, or maybe on bishop d7 is also an option here. So after e6, bishop takes c4, bishop e7, castle kingside. Normal developing move, castle kingside, and rook e1. Here we're gonna play b6, rook c1, bishop b7, and then when you reach this, guys, you don't need to waste a lot of time, especially when you're playing blitz. You're a Caro-kan player. Most of the time, you have a fantasy position. If you have a Caro-kan player like this one, because this is my one of my favorite opening. And then when I reach this, um, I feel I am very comfortable handling this as black, because I know that the strategic idea for both side here. I also play this line as white, so that's why I'm gonna share it to you guys. And then I hope you enjoy this one. I hope you learned something here. And then here you're gonna play rook c8, and then trying to stop the d5 move here. So you can also play knight b4 followed by knight d5, trying to prevent white to push that pawn on d4. And then of course, um, we want to trade a lot of minor piece. So black is okay here. This will lead to a very exciting game. And then in white's perspective, yeah, white need to create initiative here on the king side. Knight e5 is an option for white, intending to play rook e3. Excuse me, guys. And then later on, rook h3, intending to create a pressure on this king side. And then this bishop on c4. Most of the time, white will gonna maneuver that on d3 or bishop b3 followed by bishop c2. Okay, but still equal position. It depends on how you approach the position here. But when you reach this position, I can guarantee you guys that this position is equal for both sides. So you can play this one for both sides, guys. Okay, and then the other line. So let's go back, guys. The other line was after bishop g5 takes. The other line was bishop takes c4. White is giving us an option to take on d4, but here in this position, guys, I will not recommend you to take the d4 pawn, because I have an experience here in this using this line. In my tournament game previously, I played that was a rapid tournament. I played queen takes d4 here, and then I also tried knight takes d4 on my blitz game, but it's very hard. It's time consuming for black, and at the same time, black doesn't have fantasy position after that, and then white have a lot of options. So position is very tricky. If you try to accept the challenge on d4, just make sure that you're well prepared enough to entering on that line. But if you want a safe line, and then you want to save your time, especially when you're playing blitz game, or maybe you're playing with a rapid game, so I will recommend you guys to play h6 here. And then later on we're gonna play e6 followed by bishop e7. You got same fantasy position, same idea. e6, bishop e7, b6, and then bishop b7, castle kingside, and then black is okay from there. And then here, white have an option to capture. After that, it's okay. It's favorable for black, because now we're gonna play e takes f6. It's very easy for us to develop the dark square bishop, even though white have an a pass pawn on d4, but that was an isolated pawn, so it's okay for us, guys. And then we're gonna play bishop d6, stopping that pass pawn on d4. good thing for black here is it was an open game, and then black have a pair of bishops, so that's why I really like this position for black. So knight f3, bishop d6, castle, castle. Then later on we're gonna play a6 followed by b5, or maybe rook e8. So a lot of option from here now, but black is very comfortable here. Bishop g4 is also an option here. Black is okay. Don't worry about that pass pawn on d4 because it was on middle game position right now, and then you have a pair of bishop. So I can guarantee you guys that this position is very easy to handle as black, based on my own experience. And then later on, guys, I will gonna cover all of my games regarding on this line. I have a lot of games using this line for black. Okay, so let's continue, guys. Let's go back. So I think we tackle all the possible variation here using the knight c3 followed by bishop g5 variation. So next we're gonna tackle the knight c3 followed by knight f3. That was they call that as a Caro-kan paano but binig attack two knights variation. So let's continue from there. Knight c3 and then knight c6. So this time white will gonna play knight f3. Caro-kan paano but binig attack two knights variation. So here I will recommend you guys to play bishop g4. This is the main line here, and then here actually white have a lot of option here, but the main move is takes. Then the other line was a simple developing move like bishop e3 or maybe bishop e2, something like that. Okay, so first we're gonna try to study, or we're gonna try to tackle the main line cx-d5, and then let me show you guys some interesting variation here. This one is a long variation, but position will become very sharp and very tricky, and then black need to memorize some line if you are entering on this line. So the line what I'm telling you guys is after knight takes d5, queen b3, and then this knight we're gonna move on d6. But before we continue from there, guys, sorry, not knight b6 immediately, guys. First we will get to capture the knight on f3 first, and then after that knight b3. So question is, what happened if white will gonna takes the pawn on b7, attacking the knight on c6? So we have a trap here by playing we should play knight db4, defending the knight on c6, and then after takes we have rook d8, queen is trapped. So that's why from here most important is g takes f3 first for white, and then after that we're gonna play knight b6. But nowadays a lot of player played here e6, giving up the pawn on b7, but I don't prepare this line. I can't I can't recall the idea here. What happened if takes here? Yeah, black have knight takes d4, but yeah, I don't prepare this line. So the line I'm recommending you guys is knight b6. So we have a threat on d4, and then after d5, now I'm gonna show you the long variation here. Black will gonna play knight d4, threatening the queen, and then queen d1, threatening the knight on d4, and then here the best move is to play e5, pass pawn, and then takes, and then after bishop e3. So here we have a very good preparation, bishop c5, inviting our opponent to play v4. So this is very interesting, but I can assure you guys that this is tested by time. This variation is popularized by former world champion Anatoly Karpov. So yeah, this is a very what you call this one, very highly theoretical game, or black is very prepared here. So after b4, let's continue. Castle kingside. Now we are attacking the f3 pawn, and then after takes on c5, we're gonna play knight takes f3, king e2, and then after that, of course, in this position white have an advantage in material, so logically we don't want to trade queen here. If we play as black, we're gonna play queen f6, trying to attack the knight on c3, and then after that takes here on b6, queen takes, and then if you reach this position, guys, this is the line what I'm telling you before. The position is equal. White have advantage in material, but black have some sort of initiative here, especially on the king is in the center. The rook on h1 is out of play. The rook on a1 is also inactive. Excuse me, guys. The best move here for white is to play rook c1. Sorry, not. I mean the rook c1 move is looks like a logical move, but it's not the best move here. Bishop g2 is the best move. What happened after rook c1? We have queen b2, rook c2, queen b5 check, forcing move. White is forced to play queen d3 here, and then after queen h5, position will become very hard for white. So this is the long variation what I'm telling you, guys. Yeah, this is the good thing if you are well prepared on your opening preparation. So that's why I'm here, guys. I like to share all of my opening repertoire to you. So we're gonna complete all of the variation in this Caro-kan opening, guys. So as of now, we should start from Caro-kan paano bot binikatak. Okay, so let's go back. Then now I would like to introduce you the other line, the normal line here. So after that, after takes, sorry, from here the normal line is like bishop e3. So black, we're gonna play normal development move here, e6 only. So after excuse me, guys, after rook c1, you can play bishop e7 here. So normal developing move only, and then later on we're gonna play castle kingside, and then black is ready for middle game. Okay, so that's why a lot of players try to play queen b3 here. White is trying to fight for initiative, but if black is prepared, it's okay. White doesn't have an advantage there in queen b3 line. And then sorry, guys, let's continue. After knight f3, bishop g4. Now white have this move, takes. Then after queen b3, takes here on f3. So after taking on f3, white will gonna play g takes f3, and then after knight b6, instead of playing d5, white can also play bishop e3. Okay, so here white have, let's evaluate the position first. White have a pair of bishop, but the problem is the pawn structure is not good. So we can evaluate this position as imbalance equal position. White have some dynamic advantage here, because having a pair of bishop in a semi-open game, it means that white have some dynamic advantage. But on the other hand, black have a static advantage. So when we say static, it was a long-term advantage, especially the pawn structure. So we're gonna fight for structure here. So the correct strategy for black, it was the same. You're gonna trade a lot of minor piece, the knight and then the bishop, as much as possible. You want to enter on a major piece battle. So e6 here, stopping d5 move, and then castle, bishop e7, and then here d5 is the main move, trying to remove that isolated pawn, the isolani. Knight takes pawn takes d5, knight takes d5. Then after series of moves, queen c7, position still equal, king b1, sorry, and then after that castle, and then here the main move is to play f4, guys. So this light square bishop on f1 have a lot of options, bishop g2, bishop c4, but the position is still equal. Here you can simply play rook fd8, trying to neutralize the position, and then after bishop g2, intending to play rook d1 later on. But it's okay, because it's very easy for black to equalize the position. And then here black can play bishop f6, and then rook c1 most probably is the move. And then after that we can play rook rook d8 here in this position, and then position is still equal. Okay guys, so let's go back. So the other line that we miss here is after bishop to g4, white can also play c5. So we're gonna try to cover this line, and then here we have excuse me, we have bishop takes f3, removing the guard. That's why white is forced to play g takes f3, and then here I recommend you guys to play g6 instead of developing your bishop on e7. The bishop is very passive on e7 in this position, so we're gonna play g6 followed by bishop g7 here, because the purpose of this dark square bishop first of all is to control the center, and then at the same time attacking the d4 pawn. So let's continue from here. Maybe bishop e3 is the main move, and then after that bishop g7, and then here bishop b4 with the idea of taking this knight, and then later on white will gonna play a3 b4 using the majority attack on the queen side. But on the other hand, as black, in black's perspective here, we have a lot of play in the center. e5 is coming, knight h5 followed by rook e8, e5 is also coming here, so this will lead to a very exciting game. But this position now is an equal position for both sides, guys. Okay, so that's all guys, and then later on we're gonna tackle another variation, and then we before we end our session, I have last variation. We're gonna study last variation here after knight f6. I forgot to mention this one, knight c3, knight c6, and after that this line bishop f4 variation. This is also strong line for white. So we already tackled bishop g5 here in this line, and this is what you call, again guys, it's very important to remember the name of the variation, so you can search it on the database anytime you want. You can try to analyze the game of grandmaster. A lot of grandmaster using this line also, use this line also. So let's continue. Bishop f4, and then here I recommend you guys to play g6. Same idea, we want to control the center, and then later on we're gonna attack the d4 pawn, and then here the main move for white is to play c5, bishop g7, and then here h3 first before playing knight f3, preventing bishop g4, then after that castle, knight f3, and then from here we're gonna attack in the center immediately by playing knight e4, and then most probably white will gonna play bishop e2, normal developing move. Then after that we need to play e5 here, or maybe b6 is also an option here in this position, but we have a very good preparation here. The normal move is e5 and b6, but our preparation here is to play knight takes d4, attacking in the center immediately. So this is an engine line. I used to analyze it on the engine. So yeah, that's the proper way. If you want to improve your opening, guys, you need to back up with an engine line. You can use your engine to improve your opening lines. Okay, so after knight takes d4, actually knight takes d4 is a very strong move. On my previous game, I used to play I used to play b6 and then or f6 e5, but after some previous research or some previous study, I found this knight takes d4 move interesting. So that's now I'm ready to use this. So from here we're gonna play e5, bishop e3 is the main move here. Let's continue, guys, and then e takes d4, bishop takes d4. Yes, we have an isolated pawn here in this position, but it's very easy to handle for black. After queen takes c3, rook e8. Yeah, so the problem here is white's king is still in the center. That was our compensation for that isolated pawn on d5. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoy, and then later on I'm gonna do a live game, and then I will gonna show it to you guys. And then I also want to introduce London system as white, and then Chabalenko's lab as black. So we're gonna cover all of that. We should start um, here from a Caro-kan opening, and then I hope will gonna support my channel, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. I am just a beginner in as a vlogger, so I hope you support me, guys, and then I hope you enjoy the video. Once again, this is AGM Mark Paraguya. Thank you, guys. Bye.